1, 2, 3, clap. Hi, and welcome to Hey Buddy, Nice Podcast. Over in Scotland is Brogan Hastings.
And over in Australia, it's Wayne Giovanazzi.
Brogan, we did it. We are actually doing what people want, and we are making a podcast, for good or bad.
We've bowed to public demand, to the
That's right. Public,
to the non-zero amount of people who asked us to do
this. By popular demand, aka one guy on Twitter, suggested that we should make a podcast.
Yes.
But the problem is, they're like, oh, Wayne and Brogan, they're so great. They've got such natural chemistry. You know, they may be potential future leaders of nations. But they didn't give us any example of what we should talk about.
No. And those people have obviously never met or spoken to us in real life.
That's right. They were not at Scootfest. Shame on them.
Or they were, and just, yeah.
Well, yeah, some people were at Scootfest, as they should be.
As they should
But it's hard for us to do a podcast because we live on opposite sides of the world. Well, I don't know. I don't have my globe in front of me. I don't know where Scotland is precisely. I know it's like near England and that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the longitude and latitude of Scotland?
I will find out for next episode. I will open.
Okay, we'll write that down for Brogan's homework. Okay.
But to put it into perspective for this episode that may or may not see the light of day, you are recording at about 8 o'clock in the morning your time.
Correct.
It is 1 o'clock in the morning my time.
Oh, you should be sleeping.
I should be sleeping. My parents are sleeping, and I hope to God that they don't hear any of this.
They're just going to be woken up. So, I was about to break into a Scottish accent, but I was not confident enough to do it, and I've never heard your father speak, so I didn't want to do an impersonator.
Go for it. I'll tell you how accurate it is.
Okay, ready. Is he an angry man? Is he typically angry, or is he nice and calm? He's Scottish, so he must speak angrily, surely.
For legal reasons, I can't answer that.
Okay, yeah. Technically, you are a lawyer. Is that right?
I'm halfway to becoming a lawyer, technically.
Okay, so you've done some legal studies.
Yes, I have a law degree.
So you have a law degree?
Yes.
Is there like some kind of bar that needs to be passed? I don't understand these legal terms.
Kind of.
Like in America.
So for us, you do your law degree, which is about 4 years, and then you have to do a diploma, which is university again for another 2 years. Oof. And then you do your traineeship, which is another 2 years.
That just sounds terrible.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it.
Who wants to go to school again after leaving school? And then once you've done that school, go to school again. Exactly.
I literally only did it because I actually wasn't doing it at first. I did a mechanical engineering degree. Well, no, I did that. I started doing mechanical engineering.
Okay. I was going to say, you're too young to have already done a degree and like 2/3 of another. No,
I did the first year. I switched to law because for various reasons, including it was just fucking horrendous.
Boring?
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, the first year for mechanical engineering, you literally have maths classes. And I shit you not, they teach you to do 2 + 2.
Oh, really?
And I am not exaggerating when I say that. It was literally a whole class on addition. And you're like, what the actual fuck?
That's weird. I don't... See, school for me and maths class, I didn't take trigonometry or geometry or whatever the hell the different maths are. I did the basic bitch-ass maths. And that was basic... It was more or less English class. Another English class. Because it was like writing reports on stupid shit. It's like... It is almost remedial math. It's one thing. It was life skills. That's what it was, more or less. So they're not sending you off into the world not knowing how to pay a bill. Like one assignment we had was, okay, you're going to pretend that you've gotten a mobile phone. Sir, I already have a mobile phone. No, you're going to pretend in this instance. But, sir, I already have a mobile phone plan. It's like, oh, okay. But the assignment is that you're going to pretend you've got a mobile phone plan and budget what you would need to pay based off of earnings. Sir, I don't have a job. No, we're pretending here that you've got a job. Just stupid shit like that. It's like basic math for living. And then in my real job, it turns out I need to use algebra quite often, which, of course, is typical.
Actual proper human maths.
That's right, yeah. So I have to use things like square roots and unknown variables and things like that. Are we doing this? Are we talking about our real jobs?
We could do. I mean, certainly from my perspective, I might moan about my job.
That's everyone.
So and given that I work for a law firm, I'm not going to name the law firm. However,
wait,
those of you
Schuster and Schuster.
No.
Is that a law firm? I don't know. I think Schuster and Schuster might sell books.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
There's a law firm called Shoesmiths who I don't work for.
Oh.
That's what.
Okay.
But those.
Who else do you not work for? Let's go through the companies that you do not work for. We'll narrow it down by process of elimination.
And every single law firm that's ever existed, just the name is just gone from my brain.
Okay, that's fine.
But those of you with Google can Google my name and will find out what law firm I work for.
That's a good idea.
Mine is not a common name. So maybe I should be careful what I say.
Speaking of Googling your name, isn't there something that appears when you Google your name?
Yes, which was briefly mentioned on our ICS episode.
No, nobody listens to Ice Cream Social. Forget that.
Ice Cream who?
Yeah, exactly.
We shouldn't say that. They're our parent podcast, technically.
That's right. They're technically the reason why this exists. And just I need to say, if you're listening from Ice Cream Social and you've come over here to Hey Buddy, nice podcast, we know that you're not expecting us to be the same quality, same level of professionalism as Matt, Jacob, and Paul. I mean, we don't even know what we're going to be talking about yet, and it's going to take us a while to sort of get into the swing of things. So we ask you to stick with us. I mean, it could take up to 3, maybe 4 years until we find our groove and work out exactly what we're doing. So you just have to stick around for that long, and we'll get there.
Yeah, in 4 years. Come back in 4 years.
No, you stay the whole time. Stay the whole time. We need your feedback telling us what we're doing wrong. Yeah,
we need you to stay with us for the 4 years so we can get to the 4 year mark. And then it'll be good. If it gets to 4 years and it's still crap, we'll stop.
Yeah. So what did I rudely interrupt just now? It was the Googling yourself,
Yeah, so I accidentally found this because I was Googling my own name and work because...
As you do.
Yeah. Oh, I was looking for I was looking for my own Twitter because I'd forgotten.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't narcissistic. It wasn't narcissistic reasons then.
No, it was genuine work reasons because I had 2 Twitters. I had one that was a personal account and one that was a professional account where I looked professional and followed, professional Twitter accounts that I never used. I'd forgotten the login, but I knew I'd saved something on it. So Googled my name, and then a picture came up, and I thought, that's oddly familiar. And I looked at it, and it was a picture of me at 7 years old that I didn't know existed, and my parents didn't know existed in the internet. They were like, "What the fuck?"
So someone sneakily took a photo of you and put it on the internet. Isn't there laws against that?
He was a professional. He's a professional. Oh. He sold it to Getty Images. It was for some kind of promotion at Harrods. We were down in London for some unknown reason. And a picture of me, a 7-year-old, looking at
this unnamed person stole your likeness. No, not even your likeness. Some cultures believe that it takes your soul. This person took your soul and sold it to the soulless company conglomerate. I don't know what Getty Images is.
At 7 years old.
At 7 years old. So
that
you've been without a soul.
So much.
Yeah, for so long now. Ugh.
Oh, and suddenly a 1,000-piece jigsaw just falls into a beautiful place.
Yeah. It only took multiple decades. Well, you're not that old, but it's probably enough. A couple of decades. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so fact so far for the listener about Brogan.
Just before we do it, I feel like I should clarify because, for those of you who don't know, I am 29 years old. I am almost 30. I am not, as Matt first thought when he heard my voice, a 13-year-old boy. Matt's first interaction with me was via an Instagram live. I went live and he thought I looked and sounded like a 13-year-old boy. And apparently his first thought was, oh my God, what have I done?
So we've got 3 facts about Brogan now. I was just going to lead with 2, but we now have 3. The first, Brogan is yes and no a lawyer.
Yes.
2, Brogan's soul was stolen by a random man with a camera. And 3, Brogan may or may not be a 13-year-old boy.
I certainly dress like one. 2 truths and a lie. Psych, they're all true.
Yes. That was always... See, any time that I join a new company and the team building, get to know you exercises, they always do the 2 truths and a lie. Mm. Every time, without fail, I will do 3 lies. And I will not have even decided at that point which lie I'm going to say is true. Mm-hmm. One time I think I said, I can't remember the other 2 lies, but the third lie was that one time I was at a zoo and saw an elephant die or something like that. And that is the one that I decided was the truth. And the other 2 lies were actually potentially plausible to be truths, but I went with the stupid one, of course.
We did release the video at some point because there's just going to be a lot of silent laughing for me because I can't breathe. You the thought you just be like, yep, I saw an elephant die.
Oh, so we're going to do skits as well. Okay, yeah, we can release skits. Is that what you were saying? Do a video of me saying...
No, just the whole video of this so that people can see our actual facial reactions.
I thought you were saying I should be dressed up in a suit with a tie and have a green screen behind me for an office and just go. It's like,
we could do that. It'll save time and money on animation.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah. So here we go. This is something that we're trying out. Let us know if we should or should not do this. Is make skits out of bits. That rhymes. That's what we can call it. Skits from bits.
Like blips and chips, skits and bits.
Yeah. So I'm in an office. Brogan plays my boss, and for some reason I've gone in to talk to my boss, dressed up in my suit and tie. I was like, sir, I just saw an elephant die. And that's as far as I've gotten. Yep.
Good enough.
Yep, good enough.
Signed, sealed, delivered, let it go.
I was hoping that by the time I got to that point, I would have thought of a funny thing to add to the skit, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing we need to rely on you on, because between the 2 of us, you are the writer. 100%. I can't write for shit.
This is something that we can't discuss. But I was with my friend yesterday, and one thing I did mention, I talked about our adventures in Vegas, and a particular adventure where I was having to come up with things on the fly and ended up talking about copyright law or something. Do you recall that? Do you recall that walk that we took? Yeah, that's as far as I'm going with that. There's only maybe 2 people who potentially will listen to this who might know what I'm talking about. So you're welcome, the other 3 people who are tuning in.
Yeah, our 7-Eleven walks were... I miss our 7-Eleven walks.
Yeah.
They were great.
See,
we just talked about shite.
This is the 7-Eleven walk portion of the podcast right now, where we're just talking about random crap. But there are things that we will need to address, important things, housekeeping. Yeah. So Brogan, it is important that you do the dishes today. The chore wheel says it's your turn. I've never used a chore wheel. My mother. I like how, in pretending that I'm your father, you changed your voice.
Sorry, Dad.
Well, unless I was hearing things.
People don't even know the origin of that either.
No, that's right. I am Brogan's pretend father. Which feels kind of weird now. It feels a little odd now that we're not in the same proximity. Yeah,
because that started... Why did that even start?
Just because we were hanging out so long. Kez kept on saying, you have to eat, you have to eat. It's like, leave Brogan alone. Brogan knows... Brogan is an adult. Brogan is a 13-year-old boy. Brogan knows when to eat.
But no, I don't.
Yeah. So that's something we should talk about. We should talk about our origins and how we kind of met, I guess. Because technically, we met online.
Yes.
All right. I announced to you that I was going to drop a bombshell during the first episode. And this is sort of related to this. So it's nothing huge. It's nothing weird. It's just me being an arsehole is all it is. So it'll come out. I can see the fear. I can see the fear on your face, but there's nothing to be concerned about. But see, I don't really recall when we first started interacting. I don't know if it was like on Twitter and things like that, or if it was when I was streaming drawing comics when you dropped into the chat. I have no idea.
I think it was streaming. And I think it was after I'd started sending in stuff to Scoop Mail.
Because it's definitely after.
I remember, because my name on Twitch comes up as... I can't remember if it did then or not, but it's either 7 billion needles or 7 billion scoops.
Yeah.
And you said, I don't know if I should say your name is Brogan. And I was like, you can say my name if you want.
That's right. I do recall that. Yep.
And I think that was our first interaction, sort of.
Yeah.
That's the first anime.
I mean, outside of probably like liking and maybe retweeting like animatics and stuff like that you've done. So for people that don't know, Brogan does animatics for Ice Cream Social and little cartoons of the three guys, and also Penn Sunday School stuff. So lots of art. See, I think that is where the connection started to form, was based on the art projects that we were doing.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assumption?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Here's the bombshell. So first impressions...
That was the bombshell.
No. First impressions is your stuff would start appearing on Twitter, and I'd see it and be like, okay, that's cool. And then Ice Cream Social, they basically adopted you. It's like every episode, it's Brogan. So I'm like, fuck this Brogan guy. I was not a Brogan fan. I passively disliked all the Brogan talk. And I feel really bad about it.
Please don't.
That is my bombshell. So it's nothing huge. It's just me being an asshole. That's all.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, we both understand it on a greater level now after Scoop Fest, I think.
Yes. There's something about when named scoops are brought up. And by named scoops, I mean scoops that are regular named, like, not to blow my own trumpet, myself.
Yeah.
You know, and when that name's not you, where you don't know the background or the history of what's going on, all the background conversations, there is a little bit of intimidation. There's definitely a lot of intimidation. I certainly found that at Scoop Fest, and that's not on how anybody acted or
No.
because everyone was A+, amazing. For example, Ryer, who I love. Ryer's great, but I was like, oh my God, you're Ryer. You've been in the same car as Paul. And I said this, having been in the same car as Matt, which reminds me, I need to know. When we got into Matt's car at Starbucks.
Should we start from the beginning? Should we just tell that story from the beginning?
Yeah.
All right, we'll give it some context. So this was our day at the Churn with Ice Cream Social. I had previously met up with Matt this trip. Last time I'd seen Matt was 2018, but I'd already seen him recording the Piff podcast. So I was familiar with Matt again. And on the way to the Churn to record, the Churn is the Ice Cream Social podcast studio. On the way, I need my coffee, basically. I didn't think I was that kind of person, but in Vegas, it became very apparent that I need my coffee. The people around me were aware of that.
You do need your coffee.
So we stopped off at a Starbucks within close proximity of the Churn. We called our Uber to Starbucks, got our coffee, and called the Uber to be picked up and collected and taken the rest of the way to the Churn. The problem with this Starbucks is it's a new location for Starbucks, and the Uber driver was having trouble getting to us, and they weren't calling me, and I wasn't contacting them because who the hell wants to talk to someone they don't know? And we can see them driving around the block trying to find their way to us, and then all of a sudden this car pulls up to the Starbucks drive-thru and just sort of stops, and the window rolls down, and Kez sees Matt is driving this car, and she's like, oh, it's Matt. So I'm like, oh, great. So all three of us start walking over to Matt's car. I mean, in Australia, it's not unheard of to see a friend and just jump in their car if you're all going to the same place. So I walk around to the passenger side at the front of the car, open the door, and Matt's like, oh, this is what we're doing, is it? And we all jump into Matt's car, which, no, this is not a poor reflection on Matt. There was a bunch of shit in the back of his car because he has children. He is a family man. He was not expecting to collect guests. He was not expecting to be a chauffeur. So we basically hijacked Matt as he went through the Starbucks drive-thru, and he took us the rest of the way. And he was very put back and surprised by this. And this was also the first time that Brogan had met Matthew Donnelly. Mm-hmm. So I was at the front, so I couldn't really see you, but I'm told that Kez was saying to you, are you okay? And you're just they're nodding silently.
Oh my God, it's Matt Donnelly.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was like. I was like, I have spoken to Matt. He's an actual person who's driving a car. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm talking to Matt? What? Yeah.
See, I had the benefit of spending around 12 to 18 hours previously with Matt over the last 4 years. So I felt like we were already besties, of course, after that amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and no, there was me who came laden with physical skill.
Oh, yes, right. You were carrying bags.
I was carrying 3 gift bags, one of which Kez took off me. She took Jacob's, which was the whiskey bag.
That's right.
So not only were we getting into Matt's car and moving all the shit from his car, I was trying to do it with 2 fucking gift bags in my hand. But the thing I needed to ask, because I genuinely couldn't remember, who got in Matt's car first? Was it you?
Oh, I did, because, I just opened the door and jumped in.
Because, for some unknown reason, I just thought, in my head when I look back, it's you standing talking to Matt. And I just opened the back door and get in, and I was like, did I just open Matt's back door and get in his car? Was that me?
I think we all got in at the same time. One of us didn't get in at the same time because Matthew Donnelly must have a thing against Kez because she's not even in the car, and he drives off trying to kill her.
He did. You did.
It's like, Matthew, I know that we had that strangers on a train meeting, but I wasn't expecting it to happen while I was around. The deal is that we go kill each other's spouses while the other is not around for plausible deniability.
Yes, and for listeners who do not know, this is a pro Matt Donnelly podcast. We love and support Matt Donnelly on this podcast.
Correct. Unlike that Who Scoops podcast. I feel dirty even bringing up its name.
Dare you? We do not speak the cursed name. No, but
yeah, Chris, if you want to come on our podcast anytime, mate.
Yeah, we love you. Do you know what? Yeah. We shouldn't bash Chris because I am actually wearing a t-shirt he sent me that I designed.
Oh, nice. What is it though? It's a bear. Oh, shit. Beware. I can't quite see it. Oh. Don't worry about it. We'll see it. Beware. Okay, for his bear. I can see the baseball in its mouth now.
Yes. So he asked me to design a t-shirt for his son for Little League because his son is known as the bear. And he sent me a picture of them wearing it. I was like, that looks really cool. I actually kind of want one. And he said, what's your size? I'll send it.
Oh, perfect. It's really cool. It looks kind of like a tribal tattoo. Yeah. The design of it. I like it.
Thank you.
And it does have aspects of a pig with an apple in its mouth about to be roasted as well. Just a little bit.
Yeah, there was that one and one with a baseball bat. But I think he's more a picture than a... Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But the baseball bat, that's like... at least at the minor league baseball game that I went to in 2018 with the Neapolitan, they had a bat dog, and the dog would go and collect the bats with its mouth. So now I'm just picturing a bat bear, where the bear's out, just runs out on field, collects the bats, mauls the third baseman.
Yeah. We love dogs on this podcast.
The puppers. I was at a park yesterday, and that's a mistake on my part because I do not exercise. And I played some basketball, and at the park there were puppers everywhere, doggos and puppers everywhere. They were so cute. I didn't pat any because they were not mine, and I'm not going to approach anyone because, again, people talking to people who wants to do that.
Although you are back in your own country, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, before we decided to talk about the hijacking story, you were leading into something, and I can't remember what. Because I said we should give this story full context.
Oh, I think it was literally, I was just going to ask who got in the car first, because I...
Oh, okay. That's fine then. We got there.
It was one of these thoughts that I had when... Because I came back from Vegas with COVID, lying in my bed, and all the thoughts that go through your head when you're like that. I just go, did I jump in Matt Donnelly's car first? Did I embarrass myself? Yeah. And by that point, it's too late to ask Matt.
Yeah.
Because you can't email,
that's right.
Email and say, Matt, I need to ask you this.
It might bring up trauma for him if he's been hijacked before or since. I mean, it could be bad for him.
Well, he did look very traumatised when we were at the bucket show, and
I still feel like we were being yelled at during the bucket show.
For those who don't know,
we love and respect Uncle RJ, so maybe we shouldn't talk about this. Yeah, we won't talk about it. But some shit went down at the bucket show,
all we will say is the bucket shows are available online. If you watched the second one, and just know that we were sat next to RJ.
Yeah,
the whole time,
and we felt we were being yelled at by our friend Matthew Donnelly.
Yes, but yeah, after the bucket show, he wasn't sure if he was going to go to
McMullen's.
That's the word. I kept wanting to say Tierney's, and I'm like, it's not Tierney's, it's the other one.
No, Tierney's is in New Jersey.
It is. Yes, he wasn't sure if he was going to go to McMullen's. And we're like, yeah, you should go. And I started a chant. I started going, Matt's car. And he just looked at me. He was like, no.
I think we brought that up a couple of times, and he was he laughed it off, I think, but maybe nervously. It's like, people are not getting in my car again.
The very fact that he said on the podcast, if Scoops are listening, like,
yeah, that's right.
It's the Scoops
become the
podcast.
new throwing a fish. Yeah. Oh yeah, if there are any Scoops listening out there to the Scoop podcast, first and foremost, welcome and thank you. That's how they should start every episode of Ice Cream Social.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not a comedy writer, but I think from a sincerity point of view, that's what they should do.
Yes.
As a paying patron. As a paying patron, they should do
Patronus. No.
Yes.
No, don't. That's a Harry Potter reference, and we don't. As we well know, she tried to kill my cousin, so we don't accept her in this house.
That's correct. See, now, during that episode, when the license plate was revealed during Scoop Mail, and it was JK1 or whatever, me and, I think it was the Jimmy episode, me and Jimmy are looking at each other, and I know we're both trying to think of a name that is J and K in it. And it was either that, I think it was that episode, we had already been talking about Johnny Cats. I don't know how neither of us thought of that name.
Oh. But Jacob doubted the sincerity of that, or the truthfulness of that license plate. He said, that's the only bit I don't believe. I'm like, that's the bit you don't believe?
Yeah, the vanity plates. Vanity plates, I mean, yes, they're stupid. You don't have vanity plates, do you?
Technically, yes.
Oh, no. Okay.
But, okay,
is it Brogs 01?
It's Brogan H. And it is
okay.
But it's not technically a vanity plate, so it's BR06 ANH.
BR06. Okay. Yeah.
So it looks
but
like.
But did you choose that though, or was that what was assigned to you randomly, cosmically through the universe?
Well, the way it works is the 06 means that the number plate was released in 2006.
See, there's a lot of justification. Oh, okay, that's fine. I'll allow that. Because you were starting to... It sounded like you were trying to justify this.
No, my dad bought it, and because I remember... Because my mum worked for the DVLA at the time, the driver place.
Yeah. Like the DMV. What's it called in America? The DMV.
Yeah,
the Department of Licensing is in Australia.
Yes, so my mum worked for them when these license places were coming out, and she was like, oh, your name's coming out on one. And I was like, oh, it'll be years before I can drive. But apparently, as soon as it was released, my dad went and bought it. Okay. And when they revealed this to me, my dad said, did you know you've got a personalised number plate? And I went, yeah. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, I know it exists. And
surprise,
he's like,
ruined.
And he's like, how do you know I've got it? And I'm like, what do you mean you've got it? I was like, no, I just mean it. I just meant I know it exists. He's like, no, I bought it.
It's like saying, do you know Will Smith? And it's like, yes, I know Will Smith exists, but I don't know him personally.
Yeah, that's
Will Smith was probably not the best example, was it?
I can understand why it's at the forefront of your mind, though.
I don't know why. I wasn't even thinking about slapping Chris Rock.
Liar.
To be honest, I'm constantly thinking about slapping Chris Rock, but in a good way. I don't know.
Slapping him on the back.
Yeah, there we go. Giving him an attaboy.
Yeah.
You stick with this stand-up shtick, buddy. You might break out big.
Oh. So yes, I do have a personalised number plate. So does my mum.
Okay.
She is YV04NEH because her name's Yvonne.
Wait. I was going to say, I can guess her name from that. I don't have a personalised plate, but it does begin with DYP, and I could not think of what that could stand for. And the first time my brother saw it, he just says to me, you're calling moi a dipshit? As in John Connor from Terminator 2, when he's approached by the gang of youths, and he realises that Arnie's going to be able to protect him or whatever, and they come up and call him a dipshit, and then the pretentious, you're calling moi a dipshit. So that's what I think every time I have to type in my license plate now is dipshit. So that's something, I guess. It's no... I mean, Giovanazzi wouldn't fit on a plate, so I couldn't do that.
Just Geo,
yeah, but... See, my friend Daniel Vukovic, he runs a website, vux.net, which is it's the longest running fan-run Nintendo website, and it's all Australian content as well. For a couple of years, I was helping out on the website as doing reviews and opinions and shit like that, but it was... I think I got all right. I always tried to still make it funny. That was my problem. But I haven't been there for a while. I haven't done anything for years now. But his website, Vooks, VOOKS.net, I believe his personalized plates are like Vooks1 and things like that. So that on a branding aspect, I think makes sense to have personalized or vanity plates.
Yeah.
I did see one. It made me laugh out loud because it was just the number 1. It's like, for starters, kudos to you for getting that license plate. But then on the flip side, it's like, that's a stupid fucking license plate. Welcome to Hey Buddy, nice podcast for all your license plate talk.
The number 1 license plate podcast on the internet.
That's right. 100%. We should do some research into that just to make sure. We don't want to be putting out misinformation or anything here.
Very true, very true. The people expect better. The
That's
people
right.
deserve better.
So anyway, those Hillary emails...
We can't comment on that. We're not American.
No. I know. I was making a joke, Brogan.
I think people might forget. I mean, despite the accents.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Speaking of accents, it's not happening yet, but because we haven't had anyone write into us. And if you want to write into us, it is nicepodbud@gmail.com. NICEPODBUD. Get it? Nice podcast, buddy, but it's hey buddy, nice podcast. The theming doesn't quite work. It's not quite integrated correctly, but it's there. Nicepodbud@gmail.com. What we are looking for, a couple of different things. One is things that you want us to say in our accents. Mm-hmm. It could be something, if you were from a foreign country and you've got a saying that either sounds weird or is commonly known in your country that we should say, we will say it in our accents, and then we might even attempt to say it in each other's accents. My first idea was to say it in an accent of your choosing, but you're all going to choose Mothra's agent accent, and I'm not prepared to do that.
We've only just started. We can't be cancelled yet.
That's right. So there's that. What else do we want? I guess... okay, both of us, both Brogan and I, we do artsy kind of stuff. I do comics, not so good at this comic, and Sad Pirate, and Piff comic, the official comic of Piff the Magic Dragon. What are some things that you do, Brogan? I think we touched on it briefly already, but explain.
I do whatever the fuck I want when it comes to art.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
What people may have seen your art in places.
People have seen my art, like you say, the animatics for ICS. I've done a couple for Penn Sunday School. I also do the art if you are a patron of Penn Sunday School and you receive postcards. That is my art.
Yeah, I should become a patron and get your art.
It's really sad because now my mum knows as well, so every time a postcard comes through she's like, oh, is it one of yours?
Oh. Yeah. Wait, you get postcards regularly that aren't yours?
I've since I started I had one that wasn't mine.
Okay.
And it was when I came back from Vegas, one had come through and it was the previous artist. And literally came home, was just dying. I knew I had COVID even before I had to.
Yes, yeah.
took the test. Mum was like, "You've got Post-it." Oh, okay. And then she was like, "Did you not take it upstairs because it's not one of yours?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "No, I'm dying."
She knows your narcissism.
She does. She does. So do I do anything else?
You do. Like you said, whatever the fuck you want. You've done other stuff as well. The one that comes to mind is I don't know the actor's name, and I can't think of the character's name from Ghosts UK. The one that doesn't wear pants.
Julian.
Didn't you do Julian? Yeah. So I saw that.
It's been a wee while since I did that. I did a bit of Red Dwarf art as well. Just take
Yeah.
If I get, I don't know, just a vibe.
You're inspired by things, I guess.
Yeah, I go through phases.
Yeah. And at the moment, the phase is ICS, PSS, I guess, is predominant.
Yes, and also one of the things the only thing that I keep a schedule with is Penn and Teller bi-weekendly bit.
Yes. Yeah, bi-weekendly. Which I still am not sure because I haven't checked the dates on it, but does that mean twice a weekend or every second weekend?
Every second weekend.
Okay, bi-weekendly.
Yes.
Got it.
I wasn't sure how to word that. Twitter's so limited with their characters that there's only so much I can type and put a caption.
Bi-weekendly at least gives it a name.
Well, exactly.
A recognisable name.
Exactly. It was originally bi-weekly being bi-weekly Friday. And I was like, I can't keep the schedule. It was getting to the point that I was literally doing it on a Saturday morning, like, it's still Friday in America.
Yeah. Oh, I understand schedules and giving up on schedules. My PIF comic used to be every Tuesday. Now it's when I have time. But the reason why we mention this and the stuff we do is it will come up from time to time that, I mean, we haven't done any joint projects yet, but we have plans in the works.
Absolutely.
But also, if you do want to write into us, maybe looking for... I'm saying this because I've already got a bit worked out in my head that I can't say because it'll give it away when it does happen. So I'll talk to you about it afterwards. So if you would like any advice on art or drawing or comics or animatics or anything of the such, write in and ask. We are experts in our field. I almost kept a straight face then.
I didn't.
But yeah, so we'll take your questions and we will answer them.
We'll try to be serious about it.
All right. We will actually try to be serious. The bit that I was going for was that I would read out your email,
your missive delivered by Falcon.
Yeah. So it's like, dear Red Signal, my trouble with drawing comics is this and such. Can you please advise? And then we would both just be like, nope, no fucking clue. Next letter, next email. That was the bit.
This will probably have to be cut considering you just referred to us as Red Signal without context.
I did that on purpose.
That's all right.
Foreshadowing. Even if you just want to... I mean, we could sort of follow that, the podcast trope of just reading people's letters as well, I guess. Mm-hmm. It seems to work for some podcasts, so it might work for us. Like I said, we're 3 to 4 years. We'll get this sorted out. We'll know what we're about. All right. So should we talk about Red Signal?
Do we?
Or
yes,
should
but
we
there's
save
one other
that?
thing I want to say. Is there any other housekeeping things that you have before we continue? Because there's one that I have.
I don't think there's anything. I mean, there probably is that I can't think of. But if you've got something, go for it.
I do. For the record, any and all marriage proposals to me must be sent to Ice Cream Social. We do not accept it here. It goes to Ice Cream Social because you must pass the council, the social committee. It must go through the social committee.
That is not even what the rules for marriage proposal are. You do not propose to Brogan. There is a clear set way to have Brogan's hand in marriage, and that is you must win the Mouth Finger Butthole tournament at Scoopfest.
Yes.
And then you have the right to offer a proposal.
Yes.
And even then, the marriage is only valid up until next mouth, finger, butthole tournament.
Yes.
You would have to win again to continue on this union of two.
Yes, and as we all know, Matt Donnelly has a veto card that vetoes any bit at any time for any reason. So you must meet Matt's approval.
Yes, Matt is more so the father in this situation, more so than I being the adoptive father and your father being your actual father.
I have accidentally gathered at least 2 extra dads and many older brothers.
Oh, you've got multiple dads. Oh, I didn't know I didn't know your fathers were gay. Oh no, not at all.
No. They don't even know each other for the most part.
Hey, me and Matthew Donnelly are BFFs. I won't have anyone say otherwise.
You are. Although my dad did look at pictures of Matt, Paul, and Jacob and go, "Which one's which?" My dad still asks me which one's Penn and which one's Taylor.
Yeah, that's kind of like.
No.
Oh no, it's like to us that sounds ludicrous, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's like which one is Penn? Fat you, sir. It's like anytime driving in the car, we would play music, and the music we would listen to. I say driving in the car. My father driving us around in the car. We would listen to things like Korn, Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, and my dad would always be like, I don't know which band this is. And it's like, for sure, sir. How dare you? It's like, they all sound the same. It's like, no, they are clearly different, musically and lyrically.
Yeah, that's what it's like with Dad, who then turned round to me and said, that Taylor's a grumpy bugger, isn't he? And I'm like, how dare you? How very dare you?
I can see why he would say. I mean, some of the character does seem like that, I guess, at times. Oh no, you mean he's referring to Penn?
No,
because Penn would come across more grumpy. Oh, okay. Now I am confused.
Well, I say that the reason I think he thinks that is because just before he said, "Which one's the tall one?" and I said Penn.
Yeah,
he's like, right. That Taylor never smiles, does he? And
no,
I went on very angry, or not angry, just very defensive. Taylor smiled at me, so don't you dare talk about Taylor in that tone.
That's right. Your father was clearly off base.
Yes.
How dare he?
How dare he? It's like I have literally a poster of Penn and Taylor above my bed where Taylor is smiling. So what do you know?
Yeah,
father.
There you go. I mean, talking about housekeeping, there's probably a very important part of housekeeping that we haven't discussed. And that is why the podcast is called... You should probably ignore that loud banging sound. Hang on. It is... I'll just show you this. It is my my Ace of Spades bottle opener metal business card thing that I keep in my wallet.
That is very cool.
We're not cutting that out, and this will not be on Twitch or anything, so suffer on that knowledge. So yeah, as I was saying, the important part of housekeeping, we should have addressed this at the top of the show.
Yes.
One is, you may have noticed this is our interim theme for the podcast is not sticking around. It's just while our friend, who will remain unnamed until the real theme is given to us, provided to us. But we're using a snippet of Snake by the Whiskey by Froyog Soft Serve. Justin, whose name I should have checked how to pronounce his surname before. I thought about this yesterday and I forgot to ask him. But you may be familiar. He's done heaps of tunes for Ice Cream Social. He did the Piff Pod theme. He did the Not So Good at This podcast theme, which you're probably not familiar with based on my listener numbers for that podcast.
But more importantly, in a shit. What was my Christmas thing? Christmapus.
Oh, Christmapus. Yes, yeah.
He also had a big hand in that.
Yeah. So he is a scoop through and through, known by many, and so it should be. He's very talented with his own band, the Plague Physicians, which I listen to regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the plague physicians. But more importantly, we should also touch on why the podcast is called Hey Buddy, Nice Podcast.
Yes, because when we originally spoke about this, the first episode was just going to be us deciding titles.
Yeah, we could not come up with a name. I don't know if I've still got my list of names that I came up with, but I liked the Red Signal podcast, but it was kind of plain, and we still haven't explained what Red Signal is yet.
Yeah.
Fucking Foreigners was a good one, I think, but we've sidestepped that to be the name of the segment where you make us say things in our accents, because we are the fucking foreigners, I guess.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did we have any other potential names? Yeah, they're all gone from my head.
But they were all a bit meh.
Yeah. I mean, it has been months now, because I was away for a long time, and we were thinking of this shit while we were still together in Vegas.
Yeah.
Which maybe we'll talk about next episode, except for the origins of the name. I'm the one bringing it up, and I hate this story so much. You may have heard it on one of two. I don't know if it got talked about on Piff Pod as well. It probably did. But all right. So as you're aware, you may be aware, Scoopfest happened in Las Vegas this past April. Scoopfest is a convention of sorts for people who listen to the podcast Ice Cream Social Matt Manley's Ice Cream Social by Matt Donnelly and Paul Mattingly, and Jacob Smith, the audio guy. Brogan and I had never been to Scoopfest before. This was our first time attending a Scoopfest. This story is actually Scoopfest adjacent, but it's also the first time we met in the flesh. We had not met as discussed previously. It was only online interactions. So I'm a big fan of Penn and Teller. We both are. You may have gathered that by us talking about them. I went to the big Penn and Teller show, paid very good money, good Australian money against the American dollar. I paid a lot of money for good seats, good tickets, good seats to the big Penn and Teller show. Me and Kez, we sat down in our seats. Great view. Perfect spot that we chose. When we chose these seats, this is before the pandemic, it's the area where Teller goes to choose someone for Silverfish. So that might give you an idea of where we were seated. Because Kez was like, oh, I would love to be chosen for Silverfish, but of course, COVID times, they don't pick people from the audience for that anymore. So very close, maybe 4 or 5 rows back from the stage, chosen by design, the seats that we wanted. No one sitting in front of me, no one sitting in front of Kez. Lights go down, the show starts, and it's a brand new bit that Penn and Teller are doing. Maybe done it a couple of times before, but they've also mentioned they've got bits going in for the first time as well. So this might have been one of the first time bits for all I know. About 30 seconds into the bit, 2 people walk in, sit down in front of me and Kez. In front of Kez, it's just this smaller, petite kind of lady. And in front of me is a fucking behemoth wearing a cowboy hat. A giant... It's like, this is not theatre attire, sir. What are you doing? Of course, I didn't say that. I didn't tap him on the shoulder and say, excuse me, sir, but your hat is blocking my view. Would you mind taking it off? And he would have been like, yeah, sure, partner, I'll take off this hat so you can see the show. No, I am a sooky, whiny little girl. No, I'm not even a little girl. That's unfair. Sooky, whiny little boy, frankly. And I'm sooking the whole show. Of course, Kez straight away is like, we can swap seats right now. You care about this more than I do. It's like, no, not happening. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to move my head around the whole time. I'm going to sit with my hand on my head at a 90-degree angle with my neck, watching the show and suffer through it. And I was terrible about it for the next day. Including the next day, and I don't remember how long it was. That's why I'm stuttering what I'm saying. But of course, I relayed this back to you, Brogan, what had happened, and your first response was, you got to come to the next Penn and Teller show with me. And I'm like, I don't know. We've just paid all this good money. I don't know if I want to. I'm still reeling and sooking and crying and complaining. It was so bad, in fact, that my passive aggressiveness came out, which doesn't really take much, I guess. As we were leaving the theatre after that cowboy sat in front of me, we were out the front of the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino, and there was a big line for the taxi. We don't catch taxis. We're of the generation that catches Ubers. So we were walking down to the Uber stand, and in the taxi rank line was this behemoth. And as we're passing him, I look up at him, look up in the sky into his eyes, and I say, "Hey, buddy, nice hat." And I just kept walking thinking, yeah, I sure told him. But of course, it's been made quite aware to me that he would have assumed that I was paying him a compliment. So here we are with Hey Buddy, Nice Podcast.
And
I
what
give
is our
full props
icon? Tell the people, Wayne.
Oh, yes. Our current logo is Hey Buddy, Nice Podcast over the top of a big cowboy hat. So we were contemplating if we should go full cowboy theming in this podcast, which still may happen over the next 3 or 4 years as we work out our footing. But yeah, full props to Brogan for thinking up that name. It is perfect, as much as it hurts my soul. Because I still have a soul, because it wasn't stolen by some random photographer when I was 7 years old.
Oh, call back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's not bad. We've done getting close to an hour.
What the hell?
Is it time to wrap it up? Because there are other bits. Okay, hey, that's more homework for the listener. There's a bit that we want to do called obligatory podcast quiz, but we don't have a theme for the quiz. Maybe you can give us some suggestions. We're not asking you to send us quizzes or anything like that.
Although feel free
but
to.
Maybe feel free. But we're looking more for a theme, kind of like how Ice Cream Social started out with jock versus nerd, so jock questions against nerd questions. Maybe it could be art related. Maybe it could be like how the Hey Scoops have a Jeopardy theme, for example. You tell us, because we can't think of shit. We also accept all types of feedback, unless it's negative. Don't send negative feedback.
Treat us just like Matt Donnelly, because we're very sensitive.
We will cry. I will cry myself to sleep.
Yep.
All it takes is 99% praise, 99.9% praise, and 0.01% hating me. It's like the comic by Extra Fabulous, where there's a guy standing around a whole bunch of people, and they're like, "We love you, great work," or whatever. And then the crowd goes away, and there's one guy that says, "You suck," and then the other guy is vomiting from the feeling of being told that they suck by one person.
It's funny you're talking about that as well, because I'm listening to the backlog of Great Night, and one of the things that Brian Rushwood said is he'd sent, or Justin Robert Young had sent him a review for World's Greatest Con, which if you have not listened to, please listen to that. It's a fantastic series. And the review said, "Oh, pretty good podcast.
Pretty good.
We'd like to hear more of it." It was a really, really nice review, and basically Justin sent it to him saying, "Look, Brian, we're a genre now." And Brian's only response was, "I have words about pretty good."
Yeah.
Really? Only pretty good?
Oh, no. Like, see, it's like when you say, "How are you?" So, "Oh, yeah, not bad." Not bad means not good either as well. So pretty good means that there is some proportion of not good.
Yeah.
So there we go. More housekeeping. This episode has been about our housekeeping, really, hasn't it? So more housekeeping. Obviously, you've obtained this podcast. I don't want to call it a podcast. I want to call it a listening experience. Actually, no, let's stick with podcast, because you don't download it on a listening experience app, do you? So on the podcast app, you've downloaded it on iTunes, Google Play, whatever. As always, everyone asks for a rate and review. We would appreciate that, because apparently that helps. We don't know, because we haven't even put this out into the world yet. we might get success from no ratings and no reviews. Yeah, bud, that's going to happen. So that'd be great. Email us at nicepodbud@gmail.com. This is only a temporary email while we get all our URLs and shit set up and web hosting. So don't even try going to nicepodbud.com. But you can find us on social media. I'm at Wayne Geo, WAYNEGIO, and
I am
Brogan.
at 7 billion needles. That is the number 7, and the word
the numeral 7.
The numeral 7.
And the word billion, just to confuse people.
Yeah.
7 billion needles. Or you can contact the podcast. I believe it's... I should really have checked this, but I'm saying, I believe you can contact us on at nicepodbud, just like the email.
For context for everybody listening, Wayne is the one who set up all the social media. So he or she should know.
So I did say we need to come up with something for all social media, and that was the first thing that we both sort of thought sounded okay, that was available on every platform. And we were like, if we'll just set that up temporarily if we decide to use it. We never revisited that thought. It's just what it is now, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice pod bud. Okay, we don't have any outro music. Yeah. Oh wait, we do. I'll edit that in post.
I was going to say.
Go on.
I hope that if you are listening to this, I hope you are listening to this and you've made it all the way through, that you've enjoyed our accents and enjoyed listening to us, because that's why we're here. Really,
yeah,
we have funny accents.
Yeah, we have funny accents, and people thought we sounded odd. I think that's about it. Not because we're entertaining in by any way, shape, or form.
Oh no.
And on that note, that ends our first episode. We don't have an outro catchphrase, so... you got something?
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Stay fresh, cheese bags?
Yep.
What the hell is that? What is stay fresh, cheese bags? Hang on, I need context before I okay this.
It's literally a product.
Cheese bags is a product.
I'll have to find the picture. It was
okay.
It was something I saw way back in the day on Tumblr.
All right, we're going to keep that. But we'll post it on social media when it's found. But we're going to keep that for at least this episode. Stay fresh, cheese bags.